We are live.
Why do I need a professional camera? Like my webcam is just
It's fine.
as hell. Yeah.
Just need the good audio, really, to be honest.
Yeah. So every time I've done this so many times with people in this space, especially in the Webflow space, have asked me, "Hey, I want to make content. Like, what gears do I need?" And I'm like, "Microphone first."
Microphone first. Although I do think we don't give video as much credit as we should. But yeah, no, as long as you've got good audio, like because a lot of people will just listen, in the background while they work, while they do their thing.
So I'm connecting my dummy battery. I'm using a dummy battery on this so it won't run out. And I have my camera on 24/7 connected to I don't turn it off. Like,
why?
It's been like for 3 years. It doesn't die. Like,
well, yeah, because you're using a dummy battery, right? So you're not using a battery, you're just powering it.
So here's the battery comes out, a dummy battery for those who might not know. I don't know if somebody.
It's a good shout, actually, because mine's just constantly connected through USB-C, so it's constantly charging. But
well, that kills the battery.
Well, yeah, I've been looking a lot into this, actually. Mac batteries, actually, it's better to have it fully charged because what Macs do is they bypass the power into the machine, right? Whereas I doubt Sony is doing anything like that. So I might look into that, I might look into that. Say hello if you're on the YouTube. We're just setting up. Hello.
Yeah. It's just $20, and so you connect your camera using USB-C?
C, yes. Yeah.
I do HDMI.
I just had to buy a new cable so I can get it 1080p because my one USB-C is the most confusing thing in the world. I need 3.2 USB-C 3.2 because 3.1 doesn't support this 720 and it's so confusing. But I do love it. So yeah, I just get 1080p. I will look into that. I'm gonna actually get it on my.
So now I'm gonna change the camera, and here we go.
So Sony, what would you say? Dummy battery. There we go. You need something. It's quite dark.
Yeah, I'll fix that. So I'm gonna. Yeah. So because my display doesn't rotate, I have to rotate the phone, the camera, so I can fix it. Yeah.
What?
I need to rotate it because I don't have one of those rotating displays.
What does your dummy battery plug into?
Power source.
Okay.
Direct. It has its own power source.
There's some that I'm seeing here, and it's got like a weird kind of connector, but yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a battery with a cable attached to it.
Yeah, there's just one with a weird connector. It's not like a plug or anything, but I'm sure I'll find it. Yeah, good shout, because then you're literally just powering the camera. Although to be fair, it's not going anywhere. I'm always gonna. I don't take it out. It's stuck.
Yeah.
That's not, the camera's not going anywhere. I'll just buy a new battery if it starts to fail. But yeah, I had an Ace. Huh?
Yeah. I would have thought that not just the battery, but the camera. I was afraid at the beginning maybe it damages the sensor or something, but I've been having it on for 3 years now.
Why don't you just turn it off?
Like, it's far
just
away.
To prove a point.
It's a 50 mil lens, so it's far away. I have to reach all the way to turn it off, and I'm too lazy to do that.
Get a little Wi-Fi plug, little button. Beep, beep.
So I used to forget to turn it off.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed nothing happened, and I read about it. Like, as long as the sensor doesn't overheat, it's constantly reading and outputting, but it's not doing any crazy processing, or there is not much going on. So it's just being on.
There you go.
Or I'm 10, just lucky.
10 bots we've got. Do you want to quickly just look through the list in Notion and just have a look at the order and see if that makes sense. Because there's actually a lot to go through today, but I don't know whether we'll get through it all, or there'll be discussion pieces for every single one of them. But a couple of them, and you read my comment, right?
I actually saw the notification. Wait,
Our exclusive.
I read it, but yeah. Okay, now, yeah. So how did you get that? You can.
It was just through. It's not like super exclusive. It's just. Yeah, it's just talking to everyone, right? And it's more of a discussion piece after it. And I think that we can talk about it, or we can wait until we actually have, like, I've actually spoken to the guy and then got more of a exclusive from it. That's the only question that remains. People are on the stream just like, what is he talking about? Exclusive? Command AI exclusive? And I think I've uncovered another, not exclusive, definitely not exclusive, but I've uncovered another little thing that I don't think anyone's picked up on yet at all, to do with the outage last night.
Oh yeah, we
can't reveal it just
yet.
We can.
I have something to comment on. It's affecting my personal life.
Are you upset? Are you down? You got 2 minutes. Are you feeling the pinch?
Yeah,
cost of living crisis through Cloudflare.
Well, you can tell me what the technical parts, the technical issues. Okay, so I have this ready. So going through the list, I thought there wouldn't be much to talk about except for the Apple event. I mean, there was some AI stuff, but as you did, we can navigate through them and just talk about them. But maybe we start with that Cloudflare issue.
I mean,
I don't
open
know.
up Notion, you'll see it's there. It's
it's the last one.
It is no, it's first.
Okay.
So much happens when you're just balls deep in camera work.
Yeah. What is KV? You can tell me then.
I don't even know, to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know. I know of it. I think it's database, Redis.
Yeah, so all the Apple stuff that I've been reading or watching, you have it listed exactly. Gia browser, I'm looking forward to watching your video on it. I bookmarked it. I haven't watched it, but that's one of, I don't know, a time. It's one of those videos that I'm really looking forward to.
Oh, good. Well, that one, I was so tired last night. I'm like, I've got to get this video out. It's early enough that no one has it and no one really has an opinion on it. So I was like, so I reluctantly recorded and edited it last night, and it was a slog. So I appreciate that.
We'll talk about it here as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I downloaded it. I downloaded it, and I went through the initial setup. And I'll say this when we are actually starting.
Well, let's go live. Do you know I've got an intro set up right here? Shall I read the intro? Because we're on the dot now, so we can go live now if you're ready.
Well, I feel ready. I was born ready.
I think it's just right here, so I've got to kind of Should I go for it? Should I just try it?
Let's go.
Welcome to Command AI, the podcast where we press Command F on today's internet news, and somehow we still can't find our sanity. I'm Samuel Gregory, and this is Kabaza, and we're here to decode the weekly chaos in AI web design and development. This week, we have Cloudflare outage caused by vibe coding. Apple failed to mention AI less than it mentioned Siri in its 2025 WWDC presentation. Dia, the AI browser, launched. Is this the future? O3 price drop, and Gemini dropped 2.5 Pro while Mistral launched a coding assistant. I don't know whether to say the next one. We might have an exclusive. We'll figure that out later on down the line. Unfortunate term for a deeply intellectual exercise, says Andrew NG. I don't know how you say that. Anyway, embarrassingly, Claude shuts down its underperforming AI blog. So that's this week. Lots to go through.
Great job. That was a good one.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I like it.
first name, nice.
Command AI, the podcast where we press Command F on the internet's AI news.
Yeah,
But we're not a podcast. We are strictly not a podcast. I'll say that much.
Well, we are going live every week, and then
We're
the
a show.
output. Yeah, we are a show.
So let's dive into it.
Starting with vibe coding and Claude. I don't know what happened to Cloudflare, but I just got a call like 20 minutes ago that my mom is not able to get like some medication.
Oh my God.
Because like the card reader, like the information is on the card and they can't read it. They go, and I don't know if it's like directly this issue, but I got the call and they just said it's an outage, and it's an internet outage. They told me, and I don't know if it's directly connected or not, but she can't get medicine.
Oh my God, that's really, really bad.
Yeah,
let's fill everyone in. So actually, and yes, the Dia video that I produced last night, it was like I was recording it, and you know when you're super stressed, and it's like, oh, nothing is working for me right. That was last night, and it was the outage of internet. Like my phone internet wasn't working, my computer, and I was like, how is my phone internet not working and my computer internet? Point is, the internet kind of went down last night, and turned out that it was a Cloudflare issue. Let me get my here's all the services that went down. Pokemon is there screaming at me. Loads of services went down basically, and it was a Cloudflare issue. Cloudflare KV, I think KV is a storage, database storage, and we really, really suffered from it. So what? So your mum, did she get her medicine?
No, we went to multiple places. They could not read the data on the card, so they don't know what to give her. Because the doctors prescribe it, and nowadays, like previously, they would give you a paper that you would, bring it, and they would read it, like a human. But now it's on the card, and if the card reader cannot read it, and you don't know what the doctor prescribed, how do you get it?
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah.
So I was doing some digging, right? And I went on a little treasure hunt. I'm like, what could this be? And I'm looking through Twitter, as you do, because I mean, again, going back to our conversation on SEO is dead. Like SEO has not caught up with yesterday's internet outage yet. Like it doesn't return anything. So I went to, I don't know why I'm here, but there you go. Anyway, so I'm doing some internet thing, and I find out that actually it was caused by a developer who used Devin. And I don't know if this is a joke, but it seems really legitimate. Like he's getting sorries and he's saying whatever. I don't know whether he's doing this for attention. I don't know. I'm low key like thinking I've just embarrassed myself here. But basically, this kid was fired from Cloudflare. Last 3 months were amazing, but it turns out my Devin AI code caused this outage. So his vibe coding caused the outage, and 30 minutes later, his access has been revoked. Is this real? Or is this fake? Because I'm reading down and he's saying stuff like, love your work. Oh, no, he's responding to another comment. That's me muting the fucking crying. I should stop swearing, but used to be. I just don't know whether this is a trolling or whatever. I asked them to do that.
Because of the mention of Devin, I don't believe it. Because there is Devin in it.
It was this comment that got me. And I was like, maybe this is true. I don't know. But this is as far as I got, and I thought, is it? Like, the people are even asking, because you just don't even know. Nothing funny about it. I lost my dream job. No way. I mean, I haven't even gone onto this guy's profile, but like, ex-Cloudflare. I mean, it feels like, have you ever seen the lead dev or lead developer or something like that? He's a YouTube guy who...
I think
you know him. It was very sort of, what do they call it? Satire, dry humor. And I mean, 3 hours ago, he's got a lot of followers and stuff like that. But Yeah, very satire, very very dry humor. I don't know whether he's going for that and absolutely nailing it, but because he used to do this like X, he was lead developer, was like ex Google,
Yeah.
ex Facebook, and ex millionaire, and my wife left me, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know whether I've been trolled. I don't know whether you've been trolled.
Yeah,
or
with
whatever.
that guy, you never know. Like he says something and you question yourself, is it like for real or
and to be fair, even now, like are we still even live? Like Twitter is still playing up for me right now. I mean, Twitter's going up and down all the time, to be fair, but
yeah.
regardless, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Let us know in
Yeah.
the comments, like whatever. But
I
yeah,
just know like on Discord, because I live inside of Discord, I have a tent there. You couldn't upload images.
yeah.
Like the chat was working, we were chatting all night, the video was working, but the image uploading had some issues.
KV store for some reason KV storage rings a bell, and funnily enough, we're actually using KV storage on an app that I've just migrated. And I said to the client, "Oh, I doubt it will go down," like because he's like wanted to transfer everything. Cloudflare workers, it's the workers. Okay, so it's not necessarily storage; it's like just basically JavaScript functions firing off. Key value. Oh no, key value data store, low latency key value data store. There we go. So
Okay,
I'll give you that. There you go. So yeah, I mean, you really struggled last night. I was really struggling last night. It's just annoying. It was one of those things I was like, I didn't understand. It was like, why? Nothing should be wrong right now, but everything was kind of like going against me. But I wasn't missing out on my medication. I'll tell you that.
yeah.
I've moved the ad break, but let's talk Apple.
Yeah, that's the news of the week, right? What everybody is talking about, liquid glass.
Liquid glass. You called it.
Yeah.
You called it seconds before it happened.
Yeah.
That was live in 4K or 1080p actually.
Yeah. Have you seen the liquid ass though?
No. Do you want to, what's this? You want to share your screen?
You know what happened with liquid ass?
Is it? No.
What the story is? So Apple introduced this liquid glass thing and they put it on YouTube as well. And the thumbnail says liquid glass, but the GL in glass is exactly where the YouTube play button, the icon is. So you read it liquid ass. And it's like such a perfect obstruction of like the GL that it's perfect. It really looks like liquid ass. So that's why people are calling it liquid ass. I did in my Instagram video as well. People pick up on it and it's now a part of the meme history.
Nice. I did a bit of pondering later on whilst I was relaxing. And I was coming up with other words for liquid glass because if you really think about it, like it's just water. Like what's the why
Say it again with your accent, right?
Water. What, like
yeah.
Say it without my T's. Look, all right.
Yeah.
It's just water. So I was gonna say, but like wet look hair gel, clear jelly, liquid. It's just liquid. Like it's so on brand to Apple to like have to try and brand everything. But I thought transparent viscous liquid fluid was quite nice. Or transparent primordial sea ooze was my personal favorite.
Oh my god, so. Yeah. It's
liquid ass. But more on trend is they didn't really mention anything to do with AI, and they mentioned Siri twice in the whole thing, and that got picked up on very quickly. I don't know what to make of it because I've said this like 3 times this week. Probably this is the 4th time I'm saying it. Is that Apple have always been great at abstracting the features, the technology behind what's going on. And last year they were kind of forced by shareholders to like say something about AI because they've had AI for ages. Granted, it's not been amazing, But simple things like how they process your photos is AI. Various things like that they sort of abstract it, and it sort of seemed like a return to form, where they just did not. There was a few AI things going on, but yeah, they didn't seem to mention it. Like, I think the only clear thing they mentioned that was AI was actually releasing their foundation model to developers, which is really cool. Actually, I really like that. I don't think it's going to be the best model, but the fact that I'm more excited about, I think, Apple kind of know this. I'm more excited about the developers and what the developers are going to do with this access to a local model on your device, as well as private compute. I think it's private compute that they include in it.
Yeah.
But to have a local AI running means that AI apps are going to probably explode, and they won't cost a fortune because they're not having to use other models.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about this.
Tell me about your feelings.
What?
Simon says he's enjoying the fallen nature.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, what do you want to use? A model that is excellent at getting you what you are trying to say and giving you the right answer and everything that you want, but it takes a few seconds maximum, because nowadays they are also really fast, versus another one that is on device, but it's kind of dumb. So yeah, they said they are going to release these foundational models. Developers can use them. Also, the private cloud, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
They make them available for developers, but I don't understand, like, why would you use those in opposed to something much powerful that you can do more complex things with it? Because I personally don't mind waiting for a second or two, because even the foundational models that are running on device, they are not just they are smaller, so by that they're also a bit dumber, but they're also slower. It's not that they are like super fast, because if you do something a bit taxing, they still take time. Not to mention, we have search capabilities in these models nowadays. With that, the data still goes to the internet. It has to come back. So for a lot of things, I don't know if these are going to be really that useful. And that goes back to a very important point. Why is Apple so behind?
Yeah.
I've seen a few people talking about this. It's probably because of Craig Federighi and a lot of other people at Apple not really believing in AI. Have you read about this?
Yeah. So did you read their paper?
And I didn't read the paper, but I read about it, and I watched a few videos about it. And it's very interesting, especially the timing. Why did they release it now?
Yeah. It kind of seems a bit like, I mean, they're literally mentioning Claude, OpenAI, and things like that.
So the title is The Illusion of Thinking. And this paper essentially says that these models are not really thinking models. And with the increase of complexity, the model trying to, like, the answers that they give basically falls down and falls apart. Like, they can't get complexity really well. Is that what the paper is?
Pretty much. There was some interesting, there was a specific kind of, I think it was Stack of Hanoi, is it called? That game where you have to swap the stones around and whatever. So it was tested against that. But here we go. Yeah, it's this. This is it. Tower of Hanoi. There you go. I got some other games in there.
Love the game.
Yeah. I spent many minutes on that game.
So what is with that game? It can't play it, or it falls down if it's like...
No, I think it's just one use case. Like, it's an example, I think, like of how it can perform in these use cases. I don't know whether it's necessarily, I mean, Puzzle put 3 segs, 3 peg in size order. The goals are transfer, blah, blah, blah. The difficulty in the task can be controlled by a number of discs, blah, blah, blah. I was just describing the game. Well, thanks for telling us the rules. What did they actually say about this bad boy?
I gotta sit and read this because it sounds really interesting. What I'm also really interested in, how are they defining thinking at the beginning of the paper? Like, what is our understanding of like human thinking? So they are comparing models to that.
Yeah, I mean, overall though, it's an interesting thing that they decided to pull. Like, was it just before WWDC? I don't know, but like they obviously. It does demonstrate a little bit of a reservation when it comes to AI. Who knows? Who really knows? But in answer to your question about like, would you use AI locally, blah blah blah, I think it's always about knowing the limitations of the model itself. So like, I wouldn't. Yeah, if I needed more, then of course I wouldn't go for it. If testing was like, this model was just taking too long to do what I need, of course I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't succumb the user to any kind of UX torment just because I wanted to use a local model. Saying that, and I've yet to conclude my results of I really fucking hate AI.com. Go and let me know if you really hate AI, which none of us will, but like I'm trying to learn why people hate AI. A lot of it has to do with security. A lot of it has to do with stealing of data, which we've discussed on the show before about, is this inherently what people really care? Are we being told we should care about privacy, or do we genuinely care about it? It's an open question. I don't know. Like, you have those people telling you that on LinkedIn, which is harvesting your data. Like, how hypocritical is that? I don't know. Maybe we'd just avoid this.
I have some thoughts on why, like why some people would hate AI. Partially, it's, for me, I think it's also really so why people hate AI. Partially, maybe because it's about effort and the way people see value and quality, because we connect these things together. We think like something that has a high value and is has a high quality, it takes time to create. It's also less available. But when something becomes like massively available and easy to create, therefore it should have a less value and be less of quality. So I think people also see AI slop this way when they see things made with AI and kind of like shows that there wasn't much work put in to create that thing. People don't like it. They see it as slop, as low quality. That's how I personally at least feel. If I see some really low quality AI stuff, like if I see something on social media and I notice that there wasn't much effort put into creating it, I just scroll by. I don't like it.
I didn't send this tweet out, but like, I love the Yeti vlogs, right? They're so ridiculous. They're so funny. I love them. However, right, I can't help but think, hang on, like you've just commanded an AI to like generate this comedy. At least make it make sense. Like, sometimes the episode just doesn't make sense unless it's some sort of comedy that I'm struggling to tap into. But like, the AI has done so much of the work. Like, you have the opportunity to now enhance it with your own little tweaks here and there. Remove the bloody subtitles that don't read English or don't make any sense or whatever. Like, yeah, like I agree. And I think, and I've got the results of my tests so far, and I won't reveal them because, again, I think that I'm respecting the privacy of people who are letting loose, right? But I'm hearing it across the board. I think a lot of people don't like that it's stolen, that it's stolen the thing is, AI is so broad. Like, I'm reading one right now and someone's saying all it does is produce slop. But AI, like, you can use AI to make your photos better, like to enhance your photo, or you can use AI to find cures in diseases and provides. It's so broad. Like, why? It's so polarizing. These two simple letters are so polarizing, but they're so broad. And when we try and encapsulate AI and just, it feels like it does feel like a lot of the hatred comes from the creative stuff, the generative AI stuff, which is not the only application of AI. And I feel like that's what a lot of these people don't quite understand. But it's definitely a polarizing topic. It's definitely. I mean, I read through some of these people who have gone to town, which I love. It's really good to read. And I don't want to, dishearten their feelings, but I also can't help but feel like, but you're talking about one aspect of AI. Technology is,
Back to Apple stuff. They mentioned Siri twice. They didn't talk really much about anything. They just had more of UI stuff. So
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Well, speaking of Siri, Siri is dumb.
God,
Siri is like dumb. So, have you seen Silicon Valley, the show?
I was recommended it. I didn't really get it. Yeah, go on.
You have to watch it. That's at this point, it's a must. So
I've
it's
tried, but it's not for me.
I don't know. It's so good and it's so accurate. It's about the past, but also about the future at the same time. It's all happening all over again. So there is, I'm not going to spoil it, but there is a big company in it that people, for example, today, they say it's like Apple. But maybe 6 months ago, people would say that company is Microsoft or Amazon. It's in the show. It's a big company. It's kind of representative of any of these big companies. So they introduce a new technology, and then the engineers of that company, they first know about this technology that they are introducing in the keynote.
Oh, yeah,
they never built it. They never, and apparently there are like some things regarding what happened in WWDC last year that were exactly like that. Apparently what they showed with Siri and booking a flight, I believe it was, never worked even on any test device. The only thing that was working with the new Siri was that glowing effect, which is just a graphic effect. None of the functionality worked, and the things that they introduced last year, they still don't work today. And apparently the engineers didn't know about these things. They were like, oh, cool. So we are going to build these things in the next
so that's
months.
that's the next year of my life. That's what I'm going to be producing, is it? Attempting to.
Spoilers, it didn't happen. They didn't build them. They still haven't gotten the chance to build them. And I don't think it's going to come out in iOS 26. It probably will be in iOS 27, if at all. So let's see.
Let's see how they get on. Other things they announced, which I haven't written in the notes there, is that they've introduced like a Docker, their own Docker, which is kind of random. And Docker is a virtual machine environment thing. They introduced vibe coding into Xcode, which is really cool. And that's kind of it. I've kept my eye on some of the developer talks after, as we go through the week, because it's a few days of the event. But yeah, not a tremendous amount. I think the disappointing thing here for me is, and I won't labor on about this, is just how really they're sucking you into their ecosystem. Like they've done nothing to support developers who aren't building apps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're not helping web developers. They're not supporting anyone that isn't there making their money, which is pretty sad to see. And then you've got Microsoft on the other hand, who are literally, and we'll get into it later, they've sort of open source is the only word that's coming to mind, the Copilot hotkey on their laptop, and they're trying to be the foundation for development. No matter what you're developing on, doesn't matter who you're developing for, we're there to support you, sort of thing. So yeah.
Interesting note on that. They didn't do much for developers, but a very important WebKit update, a Safari update, which is going to support Web GPU.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
so that's a huge, that's a big one. Well, this is about the liquid glass. I'll get into this. So we have WebGL. For those who might not know, WebGL is a technology. It's a JavaScript API in the browser. You use that to draw graphical elements. So think of any 3D website that you see, it's rendered essentially using WebGL. But WebGL is a old technology, and there is a newer one called WebGPU, named very similarly, but WebGPU is up to 10 times faster. And with WebGPU, I believe, if I'm not wrong, you can do multi-thread computing. So you can utilize the graphics card on a machine, and also you can do multi-threading. So that's going to speed up a lot of basically like crazy 3D stuff that you could do on the web. And not just that, we can now make them for Safari. They will run smoother on Safari and things like this. So it's a huge news for the web community, especially those who are interested in creating like 3D and like rich experiences.
What's the well, we can even look like what's the support elsewhere? Like, are we what is it called? WebGPU.
WebGPU is the new technology that is going to be supported in Safari as well.
I'm opening up. Can I use WebGPU?
Yeah, you can't use WebGPU in like an iOS. It doesn't work.
So we got it in Chrome. We got it in Edge. I mean, they're saying no here, but like I guess this is what they're talking about, the technology preview. So it's coming, but we already have it here. So I wonder why this one's making a bit of a splash. But it's big. It's gaining adoption. And
well, if it's not available on Safari, it means it's not available on any iPhone. Because this is what most people don't know. The Google Chrome that you have on your iPhone or on your iPad, it's not Google. It is from Google, but it's not Chrome. It's just Safari with Google Chrome skin on top of it. Underneath, it's the Safari engine. So far, WebGPU was not supported. Doesn't matter if you open it in Google Chrome on your phone or on Safari, it's the same thing. But so that's why this adoption, it's a huge one. And I see a lot of people in this space very happy with this, very excited, because now they can build more crazy stuff. Talking about crazy stuff, that video that I shared, maybe you show this also. Just a shout out, this video is so well done. I think this is a university in itself. Just 19 minutes of pure gold. They are talking about this new liquid glass, but they are talking about the philosophy of it. You might like the effect or you might not like the effect. That's beside the point. What is important, that how they are trying to, like, how they are thinking about this, the thinking that goes to it, the rationalization that goes to it, the inspiration, where it comes from. So most of these animations are coming from a physical world, and that's the magic that you can add, that you can draw inspiration from physical world, but then on top of that add a little bit of magic, liquid glass. So in physical world you can have glass and you can have liquid. In digital you can mix them and now you have liquid glass. So I really like the way they explain and everything they explain. Love it. This video, it's a really good watch.
I prefer transparent primordial sea ooze myself, but
I love that. That was my favorite. And a lot of people in the web space, including like us with my team, have been trying to recreate these things on the web. It's more complex than you think. Like to give a very simple explanation, each one of these elements, they kind of see what's beneath them, but they don't just translucently show what's underneath. They reflect light on the edges based on what's under them. So they see the whole screen underneath, and then they, based on that, they reflect light, which is very compute intensive. So to make this work on all devices and for the web and make it not very intensive is very difficult. I haven't seen anybody who has done this yet that would work everywhere in a like reasonable way. But
yeah, and accessible as well, because you could render the page on a canvas, but then you're losing access to all of, and then put a shader over the top, but then you're losing all access to all the text, the text. But because obviously this is designed for native app development. It's not designed for web. These are principles for native app development. And I agree with you. Like it's so funny. I was watching this and I was thinking, it's amazing the amount of effort they've gone to lay the foundations and support the design community in these principles. I just thought it reminded me of material design that Google did, and there was a whole website and it told you why, the how, and stuff like that. This is the meaty stuff that designers really need to understand, that something can look cool, but if it's got principles behind it, then you're going to have a much better time using the design pattern. But unfortunately,
have you seen the toggle?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So my favorite quote and like tweet on that is, that toggle animation is probably taking more compute than the moon landing.
Yeah, probably. That's right. Let's find it. It's like it bubbles upwards. I actually don't like it. I think it's OTT.
It's like on the 1/3 in the 1/3 of the video. So earlier, if you
here we go.
Before that,
thing is, you've watched their principles. What principle are they justifying an animation like that? Like, what's the point? We're looking at this one here.
It's natural. That's what they are saying. It's coming from the physical world, and it's.
But they did that with skeuomorphism and then failed miserably. So I guess it's a resurgence of skeuomorphism.
Yeah, I don't like the toggle. I really like the idea of the slider, because with that you can see where exactly the control is. When you put your finger on it, you see underneath.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly there. The toggle does not make sense. The toggle makes sense when it's still within the frame. It's a toggle. It's inside the frame. But here it comes out and moves. It doesn't make sense. But this one is quite nice.
But it looks cool. I think they've done very good at justifying something that is meant to just look cool. So yeah. Oh well, there we go. But the backlash on it has been pretty bad, though. Some of the screenshots. But I said it in a tweet. Like, this is a developer beta, not a public beta. Developer beta. They're trying to get people to use the tools, so they start introducing the APIs and start working with the APIs, and then it's like the designers are coming in and be like, "Oh, it looks like crap." It's like, yeah, but the design's probably not even done yet. It's probably which is kind of weird again, because they've announced these principles, but like haven't fully implemented yet, or haven't decided on them yet, right? They might go back on a lot of this stuff and change it, so they've probably got to re-record this video.
Yeah, the market didn't really love it, and the memes were amazing. The meme there was one, the entire market and the entire industry is saying, "Give us AI, Apple," and Apple is liquid glass is the best we can.
Yeah, it's so true. But I'm interested to see what Apple will do. I was disappointed by WWDC. Like, I wanted them to come forward with the AI stuff, if at least that they show some sort of like partnership with other AI, because they are kicking so much ass with it, and it's like, at least partake in that somehow.
Here's a question: why don't they just straight out buy Anthropic?
Maybe they try.
It kind of fits their philosophy, like the brand Anthropic. Thinking about it, they are very Apple-like. They are not the first to the market. They try to go for the quality, for safety. They have this philosophical view on things. It's very Apple-like, and they could easily buy them. But why won't they? And they are stuck with these like models that they have. I don't know. It's very strange. They
Very
could buy them
strange.
like 10 times.
Yeah, but we should have done Amode. What's his name? Dario Amode. We should have spoken about him on the show because he laid down some hard truths. But let's go to an ad break. And I'm proud to say that we've got a supporter of the Command AI podcast. So we'll go to an ad break and then we'll get into Dia AI browser.
Support for this episode comes from Flowbase. If you are building in Webflow, Framer, or Figma, Flowbase can help you build much faster. With over 4,000 components to choose from, you have a huge variety of wireframes and super clean, nicely designed sections that you can put together by just simply copy-pasting them to your project.
Over 15,000 icons as well, over 1,000 illustrations.
They also have a super helpful Webflow app called Boosters. With Boosters, you can add things like sliders and marquees and count-ups to your project with a few clicks and without any coding. So yeah, big thanks to Flowbase for supporting the show. If you want to try them out, go head to flowbase.co.
And just for you guys, I want to show a discount. Command Flowbase, all capitals, for 20% off any plan. This is a limited offer, so get in there early.
All right, that's it. Let's continue with the show.
Here we go.
Hey, thanks. You're back.
Cheers, Flowbase. That was very kind of you to support the show, and community support is what we're all about. So, let's talk about Dia.
Yeah.
So you have or you haven't downloaded this? You've got it or you've not got it?
So I downloaded it. Let me say it like this. At first, I didn't want to download it. I'm bitter.
Okay.
I'm heartbroken. I have feelings. I love my Arc. I don't want to give up my Arc. I cannot. I'm just emotionally too attached to my Arc. And the performance is so bad. Like the performance, the battery life on my Mac has been suffering. But I love Arc with all its issues. Okay, that's very partner. So Arc is the first browser from the browser company, and they discontinued it. They said they are going to support it, but now they are not going to support it in favor of their new baby called Dia. And I did download it. I went through the setup. It was beautiful. Like
the introduction
that they make. Yeah, it's they have taste for it. Man, it's so well done. And the design, it's so clean. I mean, look at what you have on your screen. It's with so much taste. I love it. I love the look.
No vertical tab bars though, still horizontal tab bars.
I was searching for it. I hope that they will introduce it. Do you know anything about that?
I think they'll probably get a lot of feedback on that. So yeah, because we covered it last week because Josh from the browser company was on the Waveform podcast and he spoke about a lot of the ambitions of the Dia browser and a lot of the reasons why. And you could tell that, I think his name's David, but like David was not on, he wasn't quite there, and I think a lot of them weren't there. But this is before any of them have used it, and the reason why this is on the show is that I you'll see this later on in my video that I released last night. Like I struggle to see what an AI browser could do. What are we just ramming AI in all the things, which is a surprise coming from my mouth, but like what could it possibly bring? And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing Josh's vision for this thing. So I mean, ultimately, what can we even do here? Let's go to
go to YouTube.
Yeah, go to YouTube.
Yeah, go to
I think that's a good use. I don't know whether I'm logged in, but let's keep
very
going.
A nice touch that I had, that everything was logged in. I didn't have to log things back in. I used the settings from my Arc and it was all logged in. I loved that. So maybe you can go to a video, maybe that Waveform podcast, if you can find it. And then what I would do, I would show the audience So guys, this is super cool. Like if you find that the third one. Yeah. So here you can chat with the AI and ask about specifically what did the
Go on. Yeah, go on. What
Yeah.
did
David say about killing Ark?
I'm listening to this bloody advert right now. It's blaring in my ears. And I wonder if it's working around the adverts. Then I guess.
Well, they have also ad blockers, but it doesn't block these. I don't know. I use YouTube Premium. I've been on YouTube Premium for 7 years or 6 or 7 years now.
So yeah, I mean, you can chat with the video. I mean, the example I gave is I asked my own video if there's an advert in there, right? And presumably it can give you like timestamps and things like this. But this is like, you know, I don't think this is necessarily what's interesting about this browser. The example I gave is if we go to maybe, I don't want to like, again, calendar. I spelled that right? Calendar. I use my calendar. No, it's that. Yeah, messed it up. You can cross-reference, you know, tabs and things like that. Oh God, I need to sign in and everything. Look.
Why are you signed in? For me, everything was signed in. So maybe you can just import your settings from whatever your current browser is.
I don't know. I was signed in last night, but yeah, I don't want to dox myself, so I'm just doing it off screen now. But I think the real magic here is that you can cross-reference tabs, right? And the example I gave in my video is that I was on my own YouTube video, and I asked if I had time tomorrow to watch this video. You know, so it looked at my calendar and said, "You've got an available spot at 10:30 a.m. This will be the best time for you to watch it." And then I asked it to add it to my calendar. Oh, bloody Nora. I'm just gotta like sign in and everything now. I don't even know where my phone is. And yeah, so there's a feature coming that you can see on their what do you call it? Their promo video that they've got. It was auto browse, because I wanted it to add something to my calendar. I want to, you know, add this video to my calendar. I want to watch it later on, and I can't do that yet. But I'm imagining the auto browse feature will become part of that you can actually prompt it to start doing things. And you can, again, this cross-referencing of tabs is a really powerful way to utilize, because all tabs are mostly siloed. What they can do is siloed, right? Yeah. You know, it's like an iPad. You're one task, you're one focus. Whereas if you start to think, well, I can work across tabs now. You know, could it be okay? So I've just generated this bit of, you know, content or whatever in ChatGPT. Can you add this to my Twitter page? Can you also add it to my LinkedIn? Can you do this thing across all these browsers and that would be probably auto agent because it needs to click buttons and stuff like that. But you can start to see how this ecosystem around multiple tabs can be very powerful, and like from a productivity standpoint, super powerful, right?
It is very interesting, yes. And I'm exactly trying to do this to see like if it can actually do that now. But I have just
it can't do any of that, right? But it can write for you, so it can write an email. And what I did, I'm surprised I know this is saved, to be honest, because maybe it's a bug or something. But I went onto ChatGPT and I said, based on everything you know about me, describe my writing style. And then I just pasted that into personalization. And then every time it writes, it will write in my style. You can put coding stuff in here as well. You can, I think here we go. Who inspires you and whatever. These are more about the responses. And then these are all about the writing. So these are writing skills. And then you can also, this is really chugging right now, I don't know why. You can also create your own skills that write every time you put a prompt in. So I put let's code as an example. Then you can run a prompt that will do any number of things. And I can imagine as the browser gets more powerful, this prompt becomes more useful about maybe doing, because I put like open Tailwind documentation, you know, because maybe I always use Tailwind and Next.js. So I'm just basically redoing my video for you right now, so you better watch it.
Yeah, I will do that.
There you go. Add custom skill. So there we go. And now every time I go here, I can go let's code, but it runs the prompt and it doesn't do anything. So I can imagine a world where it actually actions this sort of stuff, you know. It could be any number of things. Maybe it's something you're learning. Maybe you're learning something every single day. So it's like let's learn or whatever it is. So, you know, we won't labor on much more about it, but it's a very interesting way to browse the internet. Very interesting. Again, I can't help but think that because we're working across the metaverse, I don't know why I'm bringing the metaverse into this. The metaverse didn't. It was supposed to be this all-encompassing thing, but everyone's then building their own metaverses, and they were all saying, "Come to our metaverse. Come to our metaverse." Yeah. Websites are kind of the same thing. They do work, and there are you know integrations with other tools, but it's the integrations that they choose to use. But now the power is in our hands, and now we can integrate our work and send it to another application, and then send it to another app. You know, we're in the power. We've got the power of this multi-dimensional task that the supplier, the SaaS, doesn't have access to. So maybe this, you know, maybe Zapier has got something to worry about here a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, this is a very interesting direction, and I can't see myself actually use this because I just tried it on my screen. I cannot share it, but I can describe it. I have a meeting tonight, so I just opened my emails, and from that chat window, I said, "What is my plan for tonight?" And it told me, "Well, you have a meeting with someone at Webflow." And then it told me, it gave me a bunch of information about that meeting. And what is interesting, I don't have to like copy context from a window to another. Exactly, I don't have to copy anything from my windows to essentially that's what I do to ChatGPT, to paste it in and bring it back. I can chat in the same place. And I'm doing this for the first time. And I'm actually like in love with it. It's so good. Like right now, I can confidently tell it to write a reply, give it like context, even to set the language. I can chat, but it's not exactly in that, you know, little context. It's also not somewhere else. It's right where it should be, besides it. Like an assistant. It's like sitting right next to it, so it can see the full context, but it's not like the Google reply. I have like Google Works, whatever. I can never use it. I've tried it multiple times to reply to an email. I cannot command it. I cannot say, hey, explain. I cannot explain something and say, do it like that. It comes up with the worst. It's as if it doesn't understand it. It's a Siri, essentially. It's that bad. It's Siri bad. But this, man, it's beautiful. I'm gonna give it a try, even though I'm still bitter at them. It will be hard to trust them again because, you know.
But Josh makes a good point on the podcast, and that he says you don't expect any, you know, groundbreaking updates from Safari every year or Chrome or whatever. Like, you expect it to get like minor updates. It's like, I think they've just slowed that pace of major feature development, you know, introducing new things. And if anything, no one's using the newer stuff they've introduced. Like, how much of Arc are you actually using? Like, it's not going anywhere. It's still going to be a browser that they keep around.
No, they are not like supporting it actively. Like it's getting worse, and it's not, you know, being well maintained.
I think that's a different subject. I think that's potentially that they need to sort that out. Like Josh describes it as they've always imagined them having a portfolio of products, and if they want to maintain their user base on Arc, then they need to at least make sure it's running, you know, shipshape.
Sure. So a very important feature for me is the Command-Shift-C to copy the current URL. right?
Mhm.
So they have this in Dia.
Great.
So the only other thing that I need in Dia is vertical tabs. Then I'm all good.
Nothing in settings.
No, I haven't checked actually. But if they have vertical tabs, I'm gonna move to Dia.
Pretty simple. Yeah.
I have Chrome. Still, I use it sometimes, but I just can't go back to horizontal tabs because I have, like, you should have seen my old tweets. I have, not kidding, 200 plus tabs open all the time. I just
boy.
need it. I just need, I have a big context window. I just cannot let go of the context.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What Mac do you have? Because my Mac is like chugging at all this stuff I've got running at the moment.
I have M1 Pro, so this is like
Yes.
the old one with 32 gigabytes. I'm okay with it as long as I restart the Mac every other day or so. It's fine. The biggest pain is not Arc, it's Figma, and because I have like multiple projects and those are painful. Yeah. Well, Dia, give it a try. If you are an Arc user, you automatically have Dia. You can download it, use the same email as the one you used for Arc, so you can access it. If you are not an Arc user, Dia is not available unless you get a referral code, like an invitation, which I assume we have. I don't know where it is, but we should have one.
That's funny because I've got an Arc account, right? I'm an Arc user, but I had to get a referral code, and that's how I got access to it.
No, I got it just using the same email.
I put a referral code in the chat, but I mean, my video went out yesterday, and it might be all done. I don't know.
I'm gonna add one here in the chat as well. So, guys, if you need it, here it is. But
so out in the screen share. Well, it's saying all that. I'm asking what computer you have, and I'm literally running like OBS. I'm running everything under the sun right now, so that might be something to do with it. But what should we chat about now? We're kind of getting into the, I don't know.
O3 price drop is the next.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, does what it says on the tin, to be honest. O3 is at a massive. So O3 was very expensive. Like, I wouldn't even entertain the idea of trying to. Actually, this is a tweet towards Cursor having it, but it was crazy. Maybe O1 was obviously the most expensive, but it was expensive, and they've managed to give it an 8% price drop, which is very, very welcome. It's a really good model. It's not great for coding, or at least it's such a slow model. Like, people have been, I think a message saying, "Hi, I'm Sam Altman," took 3 minutes to reason with it. So wow. It's an incredibly smart model, but it's also incredibly slow. So you need to know what you're using it for. I watched a video just before this this stream of a guy kind of bouncing around with the idea of, well, it's really powerful if you give it a lot of information, but by giving it a lot of information, you're swallowing up the context window. What is the context window? Let's try and find out what the context. Open
searching. Yeah. Is there like a website where you can? For sure, there are. I've seen some. Theo is showing. Do you know any of those?
Yeah, I just saw it there. So OpenRouter will be the best place to look. So you got O3. Oh, they've only got O3 Pro. Oh, there's O3 there. Right. So 200,000 contexts. So it's not the smallest, but it's also not a million. Yeah. You know, so it's. Yeah, if you're using bring your own API key, so it's still pretty pricey. You're talking $2 by $8, but not as pricey as it once was. So yeah, I mean, use it. Use it.
Oh.
But they also introduced O3 Pro, which is kind of a replacement. And I mean, this is even more expensive. This is $20 with $80. $20 in, $80 out. So this is the new bad boy in town.
Yeah.
And I think the point to make here, because we've obviously got O4 Mini, right? So this just starts to get really confusing. And you've got 4.1 and all this sort of stuff. These are good for coding, I think. I mean, I'm on Claude Code at the moment, so whatever. But so O4 is kind of like the next generation, but they only release the kind of lower tier. It's kind of like the M series. Like we've got the M4, we've got the M3 Ultra.
Yeah.
But we're on M4 now. We're on M4 Pro and M4 Max. So they've not yet released the M4 Ultra. So this is why we're getting a bit confused here, but it's a good model. It does if you're doing, I think if you're doing research papers and things like that, you need to produce like some heavy duty research based, whatever, then O3 is probably the way to go, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for coding. However, I would recommend 2.5, Gemini 2.5 for coding. Because this is just Claude 4 was released last week, and then this takes it again in the SWE benchmarks for. Have I got it here? Maybe it's in this one. I'm not too sure, but it overtook Claude 4 in the SWE benchmarks, so it's amazing for code. Leading the web dev arena leaderboard as well. 40% reduction in function calling error rates, which is pretty handy. 63.8 on the SWE bench verified coding benchmarks, and it's basically a score of 14,043.22, whereas Claude 4 Opus, which is pretty insane, scored a mere 1,411. So it's
okay.
I want to get some nice visuals up for you. Let's try this one here. Or we get the Web Dev Arena board. I'll just search Web Dev Arena board. So I'm looking forward to getting back on this. Once I'm using Claude Code at the moment and using Claude 4. Once I'm off that, I'm getting back on. Are you gonna do? See, look at this internet. Am I still at the mercy of Cloudflare right now? This is just crazy. Here we go. That's what we were just talking about. If you can read that, increase it. So it's a battle for this top spot. Really is a battle for this top spots. But yeah, Gemini 2.5 Pro takes the lead, and it's only a month after they took the first lead. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
What are the type of tests that are being run here?
God knows. Jesus Christ, God knows. I think they are, and this is what the thing from Apple kind of states, is that these tools are, it's like the Volkswagen thing, where they are built to do really well at these tests. So are they truly amazing? That's why you've got to use them and actually see the real world kind of responses of these things and see it for yourself. And they've got to work for your coding style. They've got to be good and memories will help with this, with Cursor and things like that. But these might be built just to score nice high arena scores.
Yeah. Optimized.
But I do think these are public, though. I think these are public voting mechanisms. Just go on to there. God, I hate all of the products that Google have. So you can see these votes here.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? We should look into that, I think.
Yeah.
Similarly, Mistral. And there's another cool insider thing here about Windows that I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. So Mistral have launched a coding assistant, which is a private enterprise coding assistant, private beta for JetBrains and VS Code, basically, you know, whatever cursor, windsurf and stuff like that. So they've released a coding assistant, and I feel like these guys are open source. I think they're French, and it was interesting because they released it the same day as Windows allowed you to customize the Windows key, the Copilot Windows key, which again, if you've only just joined, like Windows are there just supporting the developer ecosystem, and even, you know, that in some ways is locking you into their ecosystem. But now they've open sourced that, if you can call it that, or just, you know, allowed you to customize it. And you know, I'm guessing, we're not Windows users here, but guessing you touch Copilot and then it opens up, you know, Windows Copilot. But now you could probably just customize that to do whatever. It just becomes a hotkey. Don't know. But it's really interesting. And they've also released, maybe it's in this article or not, I'm not too sure, but they've also released their own coding models as well. What was it called? Magistral, actually. They've released Magistral small and medium, and they've got their own two coding things, which is CodeStraw and DevStraw. So going back to OpenRouter, I wonder what the sort of prices are we're looking at these things. I have a feeling they're open source and very cheap, and they're doing really well. I think I saw someone using these things, and they're doing pretty friggin' well. Yeah, so 10 and 30 cents. These ones are a little bit more expensive. I'm just looking here, if you can read that. And then this one's a bit more, is it CodeStraw? Not too sure. There you go. So pretty cheap models as well. So I actually want to give those a go. But regardless, Mistral entering the chat with regards to their pretty decent coding models.
Yeah, the biggest European model this is, and this is an attempt also in Europe to basically not what's it called? Like Europe has not been doing well.
Yeah,
that would be an understatement. Yeah.
Which we've got like legislations to battle against. You know, what was it?
That's one of the things that there is no infrastructure, and the legislations are also very different. Like the way you can get talent is very different. Like in the US, it's much easier for companies to bring talent in, you know, from India. They're like a huge, you know, it's also culturally different, so that there are a lot of geniuses there. So it's much easier for the US to get those, and in Europe it's just much more difficult. And once you also get people in here, I know it's like a hot topic also to talk about. It's very polarizing, but it's about also the working times. Like in the US, a lot of people work overtime, and companies are kind of like more allowed to ask staff to work longer. But in Europe, it's very strict. It's very hard to let your staff work more than 40 hours a week, even, you know, it's paid, but they just, you cannot expect that from people. One side, also the European mindset, also a lot of people don't want to work more. They
siesta,
want
baby.
Yeah, they want the work-life balance. I'm not having anything against that, but I personally don't have that, and I like it the way it is.
We love what we do. That's the thing, right? I think that's the constant battle that I have. I just love what I do.
Yeah, people are like,
I have to force myself to like not pick up my phone and
exactly. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you working? It's like some people think I'm like being forced. I'm like, bro, I'm like working with people that I really like. I love my teammates, right? Right? If I don't talk to them, I miss them. So I'm not like, you know, being forced to work. I'm just chatting with them about cool shit. We are like sending liquid ass to each other, like constantly.
Don't say that again. Bleep that out, right? Yes. Simon, edit that out.
We're sending liquid glass effects to each other like constantly, not because we work, because like this is what excites us. And in Europe, it's really difficult to, navigate in that area and like work longer hours. So yeah, Europe is behind. Like,
saying that, we haven't even noted it down, but it's juicy news. It's kind of not really web focused, but Zuckerberg, he's trying to pull together the dream team of web development off the back of Llama 4, just kind of not really hitting the mark and like delays and things like that. He's willing to pull together a dream team. He's offering 9-figure salaries for those who come forward who are just, the best of the best when it comes to AI. Okay. 9 figures. So what's like hundreds of millions? Oh, no, it's hundreds of millions.
Yeah. 8 figures would be 10 million to 99, and 9 would be 100 million to
a year.
Yeah, to 999 million. So it's almost a billion. That's insane. I mean,
and
that is
you can see why the incentive's there. If they could take the lead. Thing is, he's battling with their reputation. People like this is a privacy war before people. I doubt people even know Meta even have an LLM. And then Facebook want to come out and say, hey, we've got the best chatbot. Say, no, thank you. We're already pretty scared about whatever. So yeah. Crazy.
Have you? I don't know if it's relevant in a way or not, but I just got a notification yesterday on my Instagram that because I have a public account and also a business account, if it makes sense, or creator account.
So it's very
I have like a billion different accounts. But I got a notification that your content now will be indexed by search engines, and I assume Instagram accounts. That means also my reels, because that's one of the main issues Instagram has had for years, that the content that you create there is just a momentary thing. On YouTube, it's an evergreen thing, especially if your content is not just some news. It will be searchable, indexable, and YouTube is the second biggest search engine, which is crazy, after Google. And now Instagram stuff, they will be, what you create there will be indexable. That means the content that you create is not going to be buried under the other content that you or others create. It will be there. It will be searchable, and
if you've got it public, right? Because obviously you can set your stuff to private.
Yeah, of course. That I assume it has to be public, and also some sort of like business or creator account, because you can be public account but not be a business or a creator account. With creator account, I know that you have more analytical tools, so you see like how and when people interact with your content. So and I don't know if that plays a role there with maybe AI. Are they opening up, or are they? I don't know exactly, but that is also interesting. But back to Mark Zuckerberg. Nobody trusts him, right?
No.
And he's been in this battle to look cool, to rebrand himself, to make people like him. He appears on Joe Rogan. He does like a bunch of things. I don't know if people actually like him. It's not like it was almost recent that he knew about the books that they downloaded from torrent. They stole books, like books that you have to buy. They stole it to train their AI.
Oh my God.
And they knew about. It's not that it's torrent. You don't do torrenting by accident. Oops, I torrented a billion books. No,
it's a pain in the ass. Pain in the ass to torrent stuff. Trust me.
They did that. So they stole. They literally stole. Like if I do this in Europe, if I use torrent in Europe, my providers, if I don't torrent, okay, but if I do, I know a friend of mine who did, and he got a 2,000 euro fine. Yeah, in Germany.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That surely would have been like countrywide news, because that doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it in the news, but I don't know. People stopped caring about Mark, I guess, because he does this all the time.
But do you think we are part of a bubble here? Do you think the normal person even knows who Mark Zuckerberg is enough? Like, do you think it's just Facebook has, it doesn't matter who's behind it, what they're doing, like just Facebook has a reputation for not being the most honest and harvesting your data. Like,
do you know any company that is less honest than Facebook?
Less honest than Facebook? Probably not. Not.
Which says a lot, even like thinking about it. Yeah, that says a lot. But yeah, what is the question? Like, is it a bubble? That what?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, as in, like, are we so focused on Mark Zuckerberg and his whole rebrand image? Like, is this just like a little bubble of people who actually care about this CEO?
Most people don't know him. Yeah,
most people just because Facebook has probably billions, right? Users.
Yeah, even Instagram has 2 billion. Like, I think Facebook and Instagram.
Isn't there only 8 billion in the world? Am I getting that?
Yeah. I think
Christ.
Facebook and Instagram together, they have 3 billion.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. But so no question. Just this idea that there's a big issue that we're seeing. People don't like the security aspect or lack thereof when it comes to AI. And then are Facebook primed to actually build the dream team? Is this going to be a wasted effort? You know, because the moment they see Facebook or Meta attached to it, I don't know. Yet to be seen.
Yeah. So I just Googled. I'm being careful with I'm like selectively using these words. I just Googled Instagram and Facebook user count, and then I'm getting an answer from the Google AI. So I'm not going to the links. I'm not clicking anywhere. I'm just reading the summary from the Google AI, I believe, like Gemini. So as of the most recent data, Facebook has approximately 3.07 billion monthly active users.
Active users, you know? Well, that makes sense. It's a lot.
Yeah,
3 billion. A lot of people.
Almost half of Earth is on like Facebook. And think of like the parts of the world that doesn't have internet, and also like we have a lot of like kids who are not on the internet yet. But talking about also parts of the world getting internet. I know this is not super relevant, but SpaceX, I believe they did like 500 missions. That's half of the entire like missions that combined in the world. Like they did like 50%.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Because they're constantly sending up satellites, right?
Exactly. You know. So they added a few new million users. I need to also search that. So Starlink is growing like crazy, and I think like Starlink by far is my favorite thing about like among everything Elon Musk has done. Starlink is like I believe is one of the coolest, if not the coolest.
It is cool. I wish I was tempted by a bit of Starlink. I'll be honest, when they launched it, I was like, but it's just so expensive. It's not for me, you know.
No, it's not like too expensive for especially what it does. So I'm here paying 50 euros for my internet, and my internet is really good. Starlink is about 70 euros. So it is more expensive. It is less. It's slower, but it's not slow. It's slower because I have a gigabit internet, and Starlink gives you about like 200, 300 megabits. So it's not slow.
But it's not for you though. It's not for inner city people who have internet options, right? It's for rural, you know,
if you are in the middle of somewhere, or if you have a van and you go around a lot, Starlink.
Well, they didn't allow that first, did they? Then they had to open up the subscription.
So to be exact, you have two options in that category. One is stationary, like you use it where you register it, like your address. But the moment you want to activate it somewhere else, then you have to pay extra because now you're roaming. And they have also different satellites, like different dishes, if you want to use it on the go. I don't know, like the normal versions, if you can use them on the go or not. But I know that they don't draw a lot of power. So yeah, it's an incredible product. There's a really, really good video. What is that channel? I think it's like something with engineering. They animate and explain like tech with like incredible precision how Starlink works. I'm gonna just Google that and add it. It's such an incredible video about the engineering of it. It's because and inside of that dish there are, like, I believe like hundreds of coils, like small coils, and they form a beam to follow the satellites in the orbit. So the dish, it has a motor, so it, like some models, they rotate, but just to get in position, and then they stay in position, they don't move. It's just the coils that form the beam that move. Yeah, it's incredible.
They warm up as well, and when it gets too cold, so it melts the snow off the face of the dish.
Exactly.
What were the dishes called? Dishy McFlatface or something like that?
No,
Dishy McDish face. I don't know. There was like there was a boat face competition. There was like the public could name the boat, and the winner was Boaty McBoatface or something ridiculous like that. And then I think there was a similar sort of thing that happened with the Dishy McDish face or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna add it to the chat, so if people want to, they can.
Okay. What should we're coming up at time. What we've kind of we've got a few little things here, but are we excited by these? You want to chat about these? We can blitz them.
So yeah, go for it. I have one thing to ask at the end. It's
okay. I'll blitz these, and then. Well, actually, this is why I was confused. This is why I was wondering whether we should bring it up. So because this involves a bit of a topic, but this idea that Andrew or NG, whatever, I'm not sure how you say it. Correct me in the comments. Vibe coding, an unfortunate term for a deep intellectual exercise. And I was looking into who this guy is. He basically heads Google Mind, I think it's called, or something. Not Deep Mind. Actually, I've got it here. Google Brain, that's the one. Google Brain.
Okay.
And he's talking about like vibe coding and whatever, and saying actually, and then he goes into saying about AI assisted coding. And this is something I'm trying to, educate my audience and all the rest of it around this difference between vibe coding and AI assisted coding. And I do think vibe coding is it's not a deep intellectual exercise. That's not the point of vibe coding. I think he's got his semantics a bit confused here, in that vibe coding, by its very nature, is, as Andrei Karpathy said, he's phrased, and you forget that the code even exists.
Yeah.
Saying all that, and I want to make a video on this, is about creating product requirements, PRD, in order to create better prompts, basically, for the AI to work better. That could be described as a deeply intellectual exercise, but not to the point of understanding the system, which is what I believe AI assisted coding is. Again, I've either got a video or a video is coming out on this. Oh, it has come out. It's already been released. No, it's released tomorrow. Look out for that. This idea of what is the difference? What are we talking about here? And I believe AI assisted coding is you're using AI to reason about code and get it to it's in the name, assist you with what you want to do. And you're just using AI to do that. Whereas vibe coding in its nature is not thinking about the code, writing, for lack of a better word, a dumb prompt and getting what you want out of it. And it's very fun, and it's can be very rewarding. I know people who produce great products through vibe coding. So I think he's missed the mark on this, to be honest, Andrew. I think you missed the mark on this. I know what he's trying to say. He doesn't want to undermine that AI coding with AI is always this vibe, way of doing things.
Yeah.
But truthfully, leave vibe coding where it is. Let that gain its own reputation. But respect that there is this form of coding that requires a lot of deep intellectual thought and knowledge on how systems work. And we can use AI to help us do that. So that's my rant. That's my TED talk. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. There was an interesting, and just a side note, there was an interesting thing that came up on my LinkedIn earlier today, which some guy was saying about how one should learn Webflow. And he talks about that you need to learn the fundamentals of web development, how the browser renders things, what HTML is, and blah, 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 blah. And it was a really, thorough and respectable post. But I said a comment. I said, I disagree. I wish it was about learning the fundamentals. I wish it was about understanding what's going on and all the rest of it. But truthfully, I think when you first pick up web development, it's about having fun. I think this is why people gravitate towards web development, because they can write a few lines of code or copy and paste a few lines of code and then see it in the browser and then make a change and then they see it in the browser. It's not like application development where you've got to compile it and you wait for it. You've got to have servers, all this. Web development is so fun because it's that instant feedback loop which you get. And I argued that I think it's about finding your passion for web development before diving into a 6-hour bloody foundational tutorial and doing all that sort of stuff. When at the end of it, you might be like, not for me. Go out there and have fun.
Yeah. 100% agree.
Yeah. I'm glad you're on my side.
Yeah, we had this in university. I mean, I studied computer science 12 years ago. I didn't do much with it, but I remember we had C, and we had to basically take some numbers and do some operations on them. To my geeky, nerdy head, it was kind of fun, but it was not all that fun because I still like visuals. But web development, especially like after starting using Webflow, for me, it was all about how easy it is, relatively easy to draw some rectangles, get some movement done and make it beautiful and have it ship it very easily. Like with the press of a button, I publish. I don't have to care. I don't care about hosting, how to bundle things. These things are easy to do for a senior developer, but if you are a junior, to think about how to set up a project and how to bundle things and how to not have it only on local host to share it with people, that takes quite a while. But with something like Webflow, you just get in, new project, then you get into making the whatever that you make and then publish it. And in the middle, that's where Webflow is targeting. In the middle, you have fun, you get results really fast. As you said, you see something really fast. And what I add to it is that you can potentially also start earning from it really fast. Right? And then the development part is what comes next, because next thing, you are just adding a div block, but next thing you ask, what is a div block? And there are different HTML tags. I can add any HTML tag in Webflow. I can use a custom element. What are other things in there? So now you open the door into development, where you don't just add things and animate them with the Webflow animation engine, but you can introduce code and do complex stuff. You can get information from the user, send it somewhere, do something all of a sudden it's extremely fun. I vibe coded with Webflow. So Webflow, Claude, with Webflow and Cursor, I just vibe coded kind of like a weather application. I did it a while ago, but that was my first attempt at doing something with weather. I know a lot of like junior developers, maybe like they do this as one of their first projects. So I did this in a 20 minutes while I was in a call, and it gave me a lot of joy because I could change the visuals, like visually I could do it inside of Webflow and just using a few attributes, bind the data to it. So it was that for me is the sweet spot.
Yeah, for sure. And you are going to get people who develop no interest in wanting. They just want to grab a quick paycheck and they just want to build a website. They don't care if there are 20 billion divs that make up a header. You will still get those people, but that's with any industry, and that's just human nature in general. You're going to get the coasters, and every single person can probably point out a coaster in their particular bit of work. And then you've got the true artisans who really care about what they do, want to do, and they're going to rise, they're going to shine and they're going to do the best in their career. So it's like, yes, it's frustrating to see that, why don't you understand what HTML does? And why don't you have a proper heading structure in your document and all this kind of stuff? But letting go of those people, because they're going to coast, and more power to them if they can earn a buck while creating shitty websites, then whatever. But yeah, anyway, there was one thing that he said as well, but I've forgotten. Never mind. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Last one, and then we'll wrap up, right? So basically, it's really embarrassing. Well, actually, I think it's the conversation on a much broader topic, which is that Anthropic had like a blog, and it was like, I'm gonna dumb this down quite a lot, but it was an AI generated blog, and it was a month of it, which is actually, I was thinking of this. Most of our articles, most of my research is done through Perplexity. I might hear about it somewhere, but then I'll look on Perplexity just because it brings in so many different topics and things like that. But Claude, Anthropic, tried this AI blog thing, and it basically did not live up to the hype of what they say, because Claude is actually used, and I'm starting to use it more for writing now. Claude is good for writing. Whether it's good for information gathering is another topic altogether, but it's good for maybe creative writing. And it just wasn't hitting the mark, basically. And I think this just brings into the conversation, which we've kind of mentioned a few times on this episode, is like the transparency of like what is AI and what is not AI. I think this, whilst the writing may not have been, the writing might have been good. I don't know. I didn't read anything. I think it treads carefully along this line of like, well, do I want to be reading stuff that's AI generated? Do I want to? How much can I trust this thing that's AI generated? Is it hallucinating? Is there bias involved in it? Because there is bias, and that's one thing a lot of these AI companies need to fight against. So I think it just brings into this discussion around transparency. And you weren't here last week, but we spoke about a new Synth ID, I think it's called, that Google have developed, and it's a way of identifying when video is AI generated, but it's a lock and key system, so you need to apply it. It needs to be applied to a video to then be able to say this is AI generated or whatever. But I think all you can do is mention something's AI generated, and then the systems then have to like integrate that or whatever. But it's an interesting debate that kind of came off of this pretty embarrassing shutting down of a blog that they tried, but win some, lose some.
Yeah.
Cool. What was your so that's the news. What was your question?
All right, so maybe
all that I wasn't even sharing my screen, mate. You didn't tell me I wasn't sharing my screen. Gosh, damn it. I was highlighting things and, transparency issues here. Gosh.
I was preparing for the next point.
You were just in your own little world, weren't you?
Yeah.
Gosh. Anyway.
So you can open the tweet, maybe.
Have you sent me have you sent me something or what?
Just in the Notion doc, the last point.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So this is a very
Are
interesting.
you going off piste? Are you throwing a
Yeah.
curveball? I'm gonna look at I'm gonna look at this before I learn. Look, my internet is so slow. I'm still like waiting for this to load. Look. Oh no, you're not allowed to watch it yet.
It's not your.
Okay. Here we go. So it's a Theo tweet. I saw this actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why are you still paying $20 a month for ChatGPT when T3 Chat is only $8 a month? This I thought is a very interesting question. This is also kind of relevant to what you have. Jupyter Chat. Shout out. How much is Jupyter Chat?
£6.
Yeah. So it's kind of even less expensive. I don't know. Yeah. Well, it's a great product. I signed up, but I gotta admit I'm not using it, and that's what I'm gonna talk about. I signed up for T3 Chat as well. I have an account. I think I prompted something, but I don't use any of these, let's say, third party in a way. I don't want to call it a wrapper. It's a third party provider of AI tools, but I'm just using ChatGPT. Even though with ChatGPT I'm just getting open AI models, if I use Jupyter Chat, I would have access to all the models, not just from the ones from OpenAI. So my answer to this was, my tweet is also there.
Oh gosh, here we go. It's gonna. Where are you?
I can read it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What you
So my answer was mobile and Mac app. I want my assistant everywhere and super accessible. Also, not sure if you have all the features ChatGPT has. Projects, so that's essentially folders, voice mode, dictation, etc. Things like this. So this is the question maybe towards you as well, and I think this is relevant to what we discussed with Dia, the browser, and I felt that Dia answered this tweet. I tweeted before using Dia, right? So all of this happened before I opened up Dia. And when I opened up Dia, I noticed here is like all the context that I need everywhere where I need it, without me jumping constantly between places. So that was a very important moment, not to mention, having apps and things like this really helps having all in one ecosystem.
Just to, and I'll get back to that. So just to say, you can read this tweet two ways. You can read it as quite defensive of like, why are you paying $20 a month for ChatGPT when you can pay for this? Yeah. Or you can read it as a very well placed market research tweet. Why are you still paying? And this is really valuable. And I sent Theo a tweet this morning actually, because he had someone tweet him saying, I like your videos, but can you make them under 10 minutes? And my response was like, when did, people feel like they can just tell people what to do and how they should run their YouTube channel? It's like, I'm just out here putting videos out. Like, why people take it so friggin' seriously? But two, it's like, it's feedback like this is so good. Like, he's able to answer them. He's able to consider stuff. We're working on it and all the rest of it. So like, really good mechanism for getting feedback. I think Theo is somehow this magician for, infiltrating the what do you call it, the municipal, and getting good responses from things. But saying that, what was your question? What are you proposing? What are you?
Where do you see all of this going? Because T3 Chat is one app. As you know, I have my own kind of like API using Open Router on my own domain, giving it to my teammates, but I don't use it myself, to be honest, because I want this continuity, which is a very Apple-like mindset. And people coming from Android, I guarantee they don't know it. I didn't know it coming from Android and Windows until I got into Apple. I'm like, this continuity is just priceless.
Yeah.
Being able to, I don't have to re-explain stuff. Having, just knowing that the app that I'm chatting with has the context. And I don't have to actively restate things. I can just go on a kind of like a conversation. It's still not that magical moment, but I'm interested to know, like, what you think. Do you think like these apps, and I know like there is some biases here, you have a business there, but how do you see it moving forward? What type of future do you envision?
Two things, right? First of all, and we've mentioned this already, there are so many different uses for AI. There are so many different, like, you have your way of using it. Someone else has their way of using it. And some people want, they just want ChatGPT and that's it. And they want to pay the $20 or whatever. I think this is what Johnny Ive and Sam Altman are trying to solve. This ever-present AI device that can be with you. Because I'm sometimes I want to activate voice mode so much. I just want it to be around me all the time, and so I can just ask questions and do this and do that. Obviously, there's a huge privacy thing here, but I agree with you. I think I think what we both want is just we want to be a cyborg. We want to be this thing that has AI just on us all the time, able to pick up on things and bring things into the context of what we're currently doing. I think someone said on an interview I was watching this morning, which is the way we speak. I speak to you differently to when I speak to my family, and having something that can understand that context that all happens in here is what the dream is, right? You don't want it to, again, like, yeah, you don't want it to be doing things or saying things or giving you information that is wrong in the wrong context, because in your mind you can think, oh, I need to phrase things a bit more. I need to tell a little white lie because I'm with my grandma and all the rest of it, So I'm with you. Like, I think that there's still going to be chat apps. I think this is a nice way to, again, just compartmentalize the AI usage. But I want to be just constantly tapped into AI. Like, I always have things like, I always have thoughts of like, why is that like that? Why is that thing like that? Why has it been, I literally had thoughts. I was in the kitchen. I can't remember any more than that, but I was like, why is it always done like this or something like that? And I don't know, but I think that's what Johnny Ive and Sam Altman are trying to figure out. Or maybe they figured it out and they're just they're testing it. I don't know. Maybe we'll find it on a bar stool in California, San Francisco.
Yeah. So whenever there is a new technology like these, big players or like companies that are essentially defining history, they find a way to like opinionize if it's a right word here, or like they have their own opinions for how that technology should be used. I mean, that's essentially what Steve Jobs did, right? With smartphones, or even with the UI and Mac. He had this vision for how that should be designed, and it wasn't based on user surveys. It wasn't based on user research. Okay, what a computer should be. People didn't know what a computer is. How can they decide what it should be? Like, if you would ask Nokia owners what their next Nokia should do, they'd probably say fly, because the Nokias at that time, they would open in 3 different ways, and there was one, the bottom side would rotate 45 degrees for no good reason, and the other one, there was one that had the camera on the side, literally. So it was kind of like these bizarre mixtures of different gadgets coming together. But
Mm.
then there was one specific company having a specific view on how that should be, and that was iPhone. And now if you look at all the phones out there, they are all essentially just iPhones, right? They are this clean slate, and even the UI, a lot of it is still the things from that era. So it kind of solidified in a specific direction. So I always love this idea of alternative universe. All of this could be in a completely different way, right?
Yeah.
Phones could have been, I don't know, circular, I don't know, whatever. They didn't have to be what they are. It just solidified. The entire industry went this way, and now it is what it is. I think what we are witnessing is the same thing with AI. There are different companies having different visions, trying to see what, or trying to actually like solidify the idea that they have for how we should be using AI. We see the browser company redefining how browsing is. We have Apple, how they are like bringing everything in to the phone with their on-device, models. So I think that is very fascinating, and I constantly think about it. How will it end up being? I don't know.
But with going right back to the beginning of this discussion, is like AI is so many different things, and that's you're trying to say, like, what's the one solution for AI? Like, how is this all going to converge? But this is the first thing that's it's machine learning, right? It's such a foundational thing to the eventual product. Like, so many wrappers are on top of AI before it gets to a product. So it's a universe waiting to explore, and we're gonna have these innovations, because this is what we call it, right? You're gonna have these innovations that it's gonna exist in aerospace and planes. I think planes is a very, very interesting place for technology to exist. It's stagnant, yet so much opportunity is there. These innovations are going to happen, but they're going to be backed by AI, and because it's so foundational, AI might not even exist in that innovation. It might. Well, sorry, let me take that back. It's going to exist, but it's not going to be like you're not even going to know it's AI. It's just It's been done. Something's been done to AI in such a way where it's just, maybe it's a self-replicating, maybe it's humans are not humans, but like robots are born because of self-replication of AI. I don't know, but like, it is an amazing thought to ponder, like, where are we going with this. And I think fundamentally that's why I'm so excited about it, and why I've just gone balls deep in the AI stuff, because there's just so much. And I keep going back to it, this idea that AI has too many different things. Like, there are instances where it sucks, and I agree that it sucks. But there are other instances where it is groundbreaking and it's changing people's lives that probably some people don't even know even exist, and they're shunting AI, and it's like, well, it's going to save your granny's life one day, so don't be too upset with it.
Yeah, I agree. It in different fields, definitely. Yeah, it will be kind of like something, as you said, you won't even see it. My question was more towards I think I didn't say this like clearly. So
I'm just embarrassed myself there, haven't I?
No. It was it was no. I agree with your answer, like for different areas. But what I meant was more in an OS shape and assistant kind of type of way. So because this is, thinking about it, a lot of companies, they have this view of assistant, that is this future assistant that will help you with different things. So again, Dia thinks this in a way in a browser, but Apple thinks this will be on a device, so it won't be in a browser. It will be like, but at the end of the day, all of these are different assistants, and I'm not sure if we will have all of these different assistants. That's what I'm saying. We will probably have just a few, just like Android and iOS, maybe not just two. I hope it's not just two, we should have like more options to choose from. But we will. This is definitely like the direction that these companies are trying to go.
Mhm.
An OS or like assistant type of like AI that can help you with different things, navigating the world. That is from learning to getting things done. If it's coding or writing, doesn't matter. Or just like asking a question how to clean up something.
That would be the dream, right? That we don't have to choose, right? It's just AI is AI, and it's converged, and there's probably an exponential graph somewhere on the there's probably some theory out there on how can we realistically expect AI, should we realistically expect AI to plateau at some point where the gains are so marginal? Because that, I didn't get it, we didn't find a graph for it, but there is I think there's some graph, some intelligence thing, some whatever. Humans come out at something like 86% on this graph, right? So just bear with me because I've got no visuals to support this. AI is at something like 64 or something like this, 74, and we are 80, so we're not even at 100 or whatever it is. But there is just so much, like there must be a point where you literally, the energy you spend for the AI is just it's completely, I don't know, I don't have the vernacular to describe it, but it's just, you cannot get any more from this AI right now. You can. So there must be a limit, and at that point all of these AIs are going to reach that limit. It's kind of like, who's the first to reach it? So I wonder, like, again, you know, it will be, who cares which one we use? Yeah, exactly.
We don't know if there is a ceiling.
Yeah. Especially when they can sort of replicate, and they can modify their own code and things like that. Like, you know, maybe an AI will figure out how to enter itself into the fourth dimension because it's learning. I don't know, whatever. But anyway.
The point of no return, the event horizon, if I may.
Singularity, whatever.
I don't think we are getting even like close to that. But if you ask like companies like Anthropic and others, they strongly believe that we are super close to creating super intelligence.
But maybe intelligence is going to be one of those things that's very much rejected at some point, because intelligence is good for what? If you can't do anything, if you can't physically do anything with that intelligence, what good is it for? If you can't love, what's the point? You know?
Well,
if I can't love, you know what? It's all well and good being super. Like, I've always used this analogy. It's like, I don't value intelligence too much, right? Because intelligence, for the better part, is mostly just remembering things. People mistake. Actually, no, I value intelligence. That's wrong. But people confuse intelligence with remembering things, right? You can remember a bunch of facts, remember a bunch of words, and call it intelligence. Whereas I think intelligence is being able to completely think outside the box, to make assessments based on completely disparate bits of data or information, and create something new and completely original from it. That to me is like intelligence. So we all have these different definitions, but I guess my point is, will we value intelligence if it becomes so ubiquitous and everyone has it? It's like, well, everyone can find out anything at any point right now, so we don't care.
I mean, we kind of had this already with the internet. Anybody could access any piece of information. But now what we have is kind of like compute also. Because they can compute and they can, you know, output something, like some code that you can do something with it. Still very, you know, little, but who knows how it will be. I have a funny story to end it all with.
Okay, cool.
I had a stain on my white t-shirt, and I asked ChatGPT. I took pictures, I talked to ChatGPT, and I washed it I believe 3 different times, and I couldn't get the stain away. I used different materials. I did everything ChatGPT was suggesting me. I was dealing with this for 2 whole days, and then I was like, why am I not just asking my mom? So I just asked my mom, and she just said, have you tried to put it like out under the sun for a few hours? It will just go away. And I did, and it just went away in this thing. I was like,
Mum GPT.
mom beats ChatGPT. So yeah, with that, it's time to go out and touch some grass.
It's so nice outside, so I'm going to go for a drink with a friend now, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah. Cheers everyone for tuning into this week's Command AI. Always welcome feedback if you've got anything for us. I hope you enjoyed the news, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, with all that, go out, touch some grass, and peace out.
Keep on vibing.